So let's review the input events, also events for forms that we have here. I'm gonna make a search for form. You can see that this form has this ID called search. So we're gonna create a variable. First, we're gonna call this one input and form events. Then we're gonna create the variables. We're gonna add const, and we're gonna call this one search form. Is going to be equals to document get element by ID, and we're gonna pass this search ID. Then if you take a look here, we have right here, this is the ID of the text, so it's going to be search course. So we're gonna create a second variable. We're gonna add a comma right here. We're gonna add search input. It's going to be equal to document get element by ID, and we're gonna use search course. And of course, you can always test that everything is working, adding search form right here, and adding console.log search input, like this. So save this, open the console, and you can see we have the form, and we have also the input. So we're gonna remove this, and we're gonna create a new function. We're gonna call this one print event, same as we did in the last video. We're gonna add the event right here. We're gonna pass this event to this function, and we're going to add the following: console.log, and we're gonna add the template literals. The type of event is going to be, then we're going to add $, then curly braces, and it's going to be e dot type like we did in the last video. So let's start with the search form, where I'm gonna show you the most common events for forms. The most common is going to be submit. So we're going to add search form, and we're gonna add event listener. We're gonna pass submit, and then we're gonna execute this function. So something like this. Save this, open the browser, and we're gonna add something here. Any text is going to be fine. Then you click here. This is going to be the submit button. We already have this. You can see that we have submit. With some CSS, I changed the icon to a magnifying glass. So click here, and now you can see we have submit. And then you can see it flash, and we are in this section. This is happening because if we take a look here on the form, we have this action, and this is like the default behavior. So for example, if you have something here like results.php, this is going to open this page. This is the standard behavior in any form. Normally, when you are working with JavaScript, you want to stop this default behavior, and you are going to stop this by adding right here that prevent default. Something like this is going to stop this page, this new page, from running. So let's open this. Make sure that you clear the caches, and then we're gonna add new course. Then you click here, and you can see that we have type submit. But the most important thing is that the other page, the one in the action, didn't open. So that's why it's useful to use that prevent default. So one of the nicest things about this is that, for example, you will have access to this search input value, and you can add something like this: console.log. We're gonna add a comment, print the value from the input. So we're going to add console.log, and then we're gonna add search input, and you will have access to anything that is inside here, everything that is type, by adding dot value. So save this. Let's add another one. We're gonna make a search for modern JavaScript, my new course, and we're gonna click here, and you can see we have the value modern JS, and the type is a submit. So again, this is the most common event when you have forms, and this is how you stop the default action, which is going to be open this action. Again, we have this pound sign, but if you have something like results.php, or if you are sending an email, send.php or something, if you are using a different backend language, then this is going to be open by default. but you can use E prevent default and make sure that you pass the E right here. E prevent default is going to stop that from running. And that's especially useful when you want to read, for example, these values, and then you want to make something with that code instead of running the default action. That's going to be really helpful.